Hello, Exiles. I'm your professionally miserable host, Winkers, and today we're going to talk about how to make your +3 Dominating Blow Warstaff, or any +3 Warstaff, really. This video is going to explain how I've done it, and explain all of the methods you can use to try and acquire a staff worthy of 6-linking. The first thing I want to go over are the benefits of having a fractured staff. The most important thing you can get to make the crafting process faster is to get your staff base, which in our case the ideal is a judgment staff, although there is going to be parts in the video where I talk about how you can make this work with a different warstaff base. You want to get +1 to level of socketed gems, or +2 to level of socketed melee gems. These are the key mods that we need, and I'm going to go over in a little bit why the other mods don't need to be quite as set in stone. The first method I'm going to go over is the essence method. The reason why I like the essence method is because we can guarantee minion damage. And what this does is we are now rolling for just one specific prefix on whatever we don't have fractured. This is really, really good because it removes the need to multi-mod craft, but also because a Deafening Essence of Fear has a much higher minion damage roll than just crafting. A crafting goes up to like 81%. The essence goes up to like 140%. It's the top of the line option if we want the absolute best. That said, the odds aren't terribly good. Once you get the base, it's still probably 1 in 100, maybe a little more than that. That said, if you hit it, you hit it. And this is about as good as it gets. You have 60% increased damage over what you would have normally. And that's really, really good. It's worth shooting for. And in fact, it's what I got. So roll the clip, baby. Come on, buddy. Oh! We got it! It's beautiful! If you are trying to search up a fractured base, what you want to do is click this button here, set it to count, make the number 1, so it will find one of these mods on the item, and then do fractured socketed level of gems 1, fractured level of socketed melee gems 2. That will give you a search filtering out specifically an item with one of those two mods fractured, and then you can go ahead, if you're looking for the perfect judgment staff variation like here, you just activate the live search and play the game and hope a good one shows up. Alternative to essences that is a little more consistent, you can go for faceted fossils. These are expensive, but they have a 1 in 4 shot of giving you the other mod that you need. This is a big deal. This is really consistent. The only issue is if you hit a third prefix, you're in a bit of trouble. You'd either have to go for the annul, which is probably the affordable option, and if you miss it, you start back over until you get an open prefix so you can craft that % minion damage. What makes this option not as good is you could force, with an open prefix, the perfect staff, where you craft prefixes cannot be changed and scour the item, and you're left with just the 2 good mods, and then you can craft multiple crafted modifiers and give it minion damage and whatever else, you know, minion attack speed, which would be very good. It would be a good weapon. It would work. It would probably get you through just about everything you're dealing with. It's expensive though. It's 2 divine orbs for that craft of multiple crafted modifiers. That ups the price of making this a lot on top of already having to do the fossils. If you get a little unlucky, it could get pricey quick. Although I'm not going to say it's really any more pricey than the essence method, because if you get unlucky on the essence method, you could be looking at 300 plus chaos orbs pretty quickly to get this done. Trust me, I played a lot of old school RuneScape. I know how RNG works. You can go double the drop rate sometimes. What happens? Lastly, we have Alt Regal. Alt Regal has to be brought up because if you're in solo self-found, this is the short stick you draw. Not surprising, it's solo self-found. You know that everything is going to be a bit more expensive in solo self-found. Part of the fun is getting it to work. That said, while Alt Regaling is expensive, mostly because Alt Regaling costs you the time of using an alteration orb to get the first mod, right? You're probably not going to have a fractured mod in solo self-found. That said, maybe you do get a fractured mod in solo self-found, but it's not on a judgment staff, you know, it's on a serpentine staff or one of the other war staffs. If that happens, you can still use that staff. So if you're looking at another staff, and this is important because it also provides a budget option for people who are just trying to craft their staff in softcore trade as well. If you get that staff, come here to the tree. We path right by these nodes naturally. You can get your extra spell block here. These 3 nodes bring you to 42%, which is a very important number because back in the day, I did not take these nodes. These nodes which give 8% spell block. That's the difference, and I already know 42% works because that's what we used to do back in the day. We take this now because, I mean, the mana mastery for reservation is very good, and that's why we have it. Alternatively, if you can give up 1 more point, you can go down this way and get 15% from the nodes, which is still 5 short, You also come out with 48% total resistances from the 16% all res. That's pretty good. That's an entire affix on one of your items that could be chaos res or something else that's useful. Now, if you can't get one of these and empower at level 3, these are all corrupted. That's fine. Corrupted is fine for us because we're going to have +1 socketed gems on our staff, which is going to affect the empower as well. Which you can get a corrupted one for. A lot of these are offline. Sorry. You can get a corrupted one for about 100 chaos orbs. Expensive, sure, but with the +1 socketed gems modifier, very, very powerful. This is kind of what makes the staff work and why we choose a staff over something like, say, the Scourge, because if you're running the Scourge, Empower is great, but if you don't have, say, a double corrupted chest, you're missing out on a lot of gem levels, and gem levels solve accuracy and minion survivability in addition to giving us damage. This is mostly just to say, if all you have is +2 socketed gems and you don't have your Empower yet, you're not actually missing out that much by not having +1 socketed gems. Obviously, that would help. It would be good. But without the Empower, the huge impact of that mod is not felt yet. Lastly, what if Judgment Staffs never come down in price? What if they just stay at the expensive level they've kind of hit recently? First few days, I was able to snag them for very cheap. And then, honestly, after I revealed the Crucible trees and tried to resell them, no one came to buy them. So I get the feeling if you do a live search, it's not uncommon to find one showing up for between 10 and 20 C still. Just there's people looking for them, you know? You got to be quick on the draw. But what if you don't have the time to search for one? What if you don't have the time to play and farm up the extra currency to get that perfect base? Well, I've already explained that a lesser base works, and if you look here, you'll notice the less optimal bases do just fine as far as cost is concerned. It is not hard to get them. You're going to be feeling a little less spell block. You're going to have to invest some points on the tree to cover for that, but overall, very good. Still going to work, still going to make a great staff. Not the best, which is unfortunate. We don't like that because obviously we're going to have to recraft it. But honestly, my staff doesn't have an open suffix, so I'll probably have to recraft it as well in the future. It is strong enough, though, to carry me for a very, very long time. Probably well through all the content I even plan to play this league. And these staves will do the same thing, most likely. Anyway, that's my quick rundown on how I make my weapons. If you need any help, feel free to bring it down in the comments. Alternatively, as a final note, if you're really desperate, there are +3 staves with open prefixes on the market. They're expensive, they're like a divine orb, but you craft minion damage on them, they're good enough to use. It's not ideal, I don't love it. This one's actually pretty interesting, because if you were able to craft prefixes cannot be changed, you could actually scour it and make a perfect crafted staff with the minion damage and the minion attack speed, but that's going to be like a 5 divine orb investment or so. Expensive, but it will get the job done. It's very deterministic. I know some people prefer that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this helps some of you acquire your new weapon. I'm having a great time in the league so far, crushing high tier maps, no brass dome required. Knock on wood that continues, because I have ideas of much more cost-effective alternatives that would work for both anyone in softcore and people in solo self-found. Until next time, Exiles, I hope to have a full build guide progress update for next weekend.